Want to get your business in front of real sports fans? The Fade Route with D and Z reaches over 1,000 listeners every month. We drop fresh episodes every week and stay active on social media so your brand doesn't just get heard, it stays top of mind. Ooh. Local, loyal, and ready to spend. That's our audience. Are you ready to be part of the in crowd? Yes! Let's talk about how we can increase your foot traffic or get people to visit your website. Email us today and or message us on our socials so we can find the best packages for you. You can hit us up at faderoutemail@gmail.com and find us on our socials at Fade Route Podcast. Time to run the go route and talk to you next week.
Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D, and we've got a great show for you tonight.
Yes, we do.
Yankees and Red Sox clash. Player-led practices in Jets camp. And the Colts and the Browns quarterback situation just keeps getting better and better. But we begin today's show with MLB expansion and realignment. You know, Rob Manfred, is determined to do something before he retires. I can't tell if it's good or bad at this point. But his realignment, he has the Giants, the Dodgers, the Angels, and the Padres in the division. Then we got Seattle and a Portland team in the A's and the Diamondbacks in another division. We got the Colorado Rockies, Kansas City Royals, Texas, and Houston. Another. He's basically separating the league by region. Mm-hmm. So does this work? How do you like it? What's Rob Manfred really up to here?
So, at the end of the day, Rob Manfred just wants more money. It's all about money. Expansion franchises are going to cost you an arm and a leg, right? You're going to get expansion fees. They're going to pay for this. People will pay to get into the league. Now, you and I are in agreement that expansion further dilutes the talent pool. And that's the problem. You already have some dog shit teams. Now you're going to add 2 more teams, and then you're going to have the rich getting richer and the poor having children. So, that's the issue. You put a Portland team in, players got to come from somewhere, and their superstars are not going to be involved in that expansion draft, right? You're not going to have... Mike Trout may get exposed because he's, on, his last leg. They may, he may be available in the expansion draft because he's barely hanging on physically, right? Or a guy like Anthony Rendon might be available to them in the expansion draft because, hey, why the fuck not? But it's I don't have to play? You're saying I'm a bitch. You're saying I'm a bitch. No, I'm not saying you're a bitch, Anthony. So this is all contingent upon adding 2 more teams. The problem with adding 2 more teams is that you further dilute the talent. But let's indulge Mr. Manfred for a second. You have 30 teams. Let's add 2. In order to make this work, you need 1 in the East, you need 1 in the West. Because when you're looking at the map of the United States and Canada, when you're looking at North America, it becomes an issue. Seattle is all the way up in the Northwest. It doesn't have a geographic rival, right? So you need somebody up in the Northwest. So that becomes an issue. Colorado is smack dab in the middle of the Midwest. It's not particularly near anything. So you're either going to have Colorado, Kansas City as the rivalry or Colorado, Arizona. Either way, not particularly close. And then you're looking at the cluster in the Northeast, right? You're looking at the Midwest
Boston,
teams.
New York, Mets, Phillies, that one?
Yeah, that one. So you have a Northeast cluster, you have a Great Lakes cluster, You have the you have the central, but you're going to split up teams, right? Because you have in Missouri, you have St. Louis and you have Kansas City. Let's arbitrarily use Minnesota as the dividing line, right? Kansas City's on one side, St. Louis is on the other side. Yeah. And depending on which league is which, one team is going to have, Kansas City is either going to go from American to national or national to American or whatever, or St. Louis is going to go from national to American. It's a radical shift in the thought process of everything we knew, right? It's turning everything on its ear, because think way back when St. Louis was the farthest team west. Way back when, right? Even before the Dodgers, before the Giants moved out there. It was westward expansion was not really a thing past the Mississippi River, past St. Louis. So let's talk about it, right? Nashville is probably the number one target for the new Eastern team. I would love it personally if it was the Montreal Expos, but that ain't happening. Montreal is not happening. I wish it would. It's not going to. So I'm not even gonna pursue the Montreal Expos. The Nashville Stars. They're coming in. I've heard Charlotte's a possibility, or Raleigh, somewhere in North Carolina. Possibly, but I think Nashville is going to be a better fit, because then you now have a tunnel. You now have a tunnel geographically where you hit Atlanta and both Florida teams. And now you have a cluster of 4. For the West, this becomes the tricky part. Which team are you going to build a rivalry with? Which team are you going to put in to create a natural rival? Are you going to go to Portland? Or are you going to go to a place like Salt Lake City? Inevitably, I think it's going to be Portland, most because...
And this is with you assuming the A's go to Vegas, right?
You have to assume the A's are going to Vegas, because that's the plan, right? You have to make the assumption that that's going to be the case. If they stay in West Sacramento, they're still in the West. So that's okay. Like that's a-okay. In terms of nightlife, in terms of tourism, in terms of potential, I think you have to go with Portland over Salt Lake City. Just hearing Kendrick Perkins talk about the fact that players hated playing in Portland because there's no nightlife. If there's no nightlife for the players, there's no nightlife for the fans. So no matter how many people come in, if your bars close at 9 and you're dry, that's going to be a problem. Right, that's going to be a major problem. So you put Portland out in the west, you put Nashville in the east. I prefer doing 2 8-team divisions. Right, so 8, you play your schedule, and then the top 4 teams go to the playoffs. So top 2 from the east, top 2 from one division, top 2 from the other. Now that flies in the face of everything Rob Manfred has done with the wild card, right? We'd actually be reducing playoff teams. Yes, I understand that, but hey, guess what? You probably get better baseball. You'd get a better product, in my opinion. That also being said, the temptation is there, and we talked about this in the production meeting. We now have 32 teams, 16 in each league. There's the potential to do interleague play every day if we want to. No, resist that urge. Absolutely resist that urge. Reserve interleague play for the All-Star game and for the World Series. Take it back to move it forward. Now, it's probably going to end up being more aligned with the NFL, where you're going to have 8 divisions, 4 teams each. That works too. The problem is, and I forget who did it online, in the proposed new division, where you have the Mid-Atlantic division, the Pirates, Nationals, Orioles. If this was the case, the Orioles and Nationals would have been tied. They would have been below Cleveland. 500. And Cleveland. Yeah. Right.
And Cleveland.
Right. So you're looking at a team, you're looking at a division that is so non-competitive. You're looking at a division where you can have a sub 500 team making the playoffs. And that would be the ultimate egg on the face for Rob Manfred, which he probably wouldn't give a crap about. Right? the horses out of the barn on that once the New Orleans Saints got into the playoffs with a losing record and actually won a game. So I think you take it back to the way it used to be, with a little bit of that twist, right? The geographic is fine. I kind of like the geographic. Emphasis on division play, and then don't cross the streams. Only play during the All-Star break and during the World Series. And I think they may have a shot. They may actually have a shot at surviving.
Yeah, I mean, as a Braves fan, I love this realignment. I don't mind being in a division with an expansion team and two other expansion teams in the Rays and the Marlins, essentially. I think at first it won't be very competitive, but over time it'll build up. I like how regional it is, in the sense that Major League Baseball teams won't have to travel as much to play their teams in their divisions. I mean, you talk about the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, and Boston. Well, those are all drivable. I mean, It's drivable. Even when you go into Chicago, both Chicago teams, St. Louis and the Reds, all those things are drivable. So I like that part of it. I wonder, the only thing I wonder with this is if, because it's so regional, if it gets stale, if because the Yankees and the Mets rivalry is a big rivalry, but if you're playing each other 19 times a year, the Subway Series, I just wonder if it kind of loses its luster, if it loses its edge, because now they just do a home and home, right?
Right.
Just a home and home.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that will get stale, and the other part is I don't know how much. If you're regional, like you're doing, how much does that promote the game across America, right? How could someone in Los Angeles become a Boston Red Sox fan if they only see Boston, once or twice a year? And that's not going to go away. I'm just saying you're not seeing it. It's not as prevalent. It's not, it just will become like such a regional, almost think about it as in terms of wrestling. Like you had the WWF and you had the WCW, and the WCW was really the South, right? And it was like, growing up, I didn't really know much about Ric Flair. I heard about him, but I didn't know anything about him. And it wasn't until he joined the WWF and he was going with them and he was going everywhere, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Ric Flair. So that's the only thing that I wonder is, and then what happens to your brand of baseball, right? Because we know that the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, and even the Phillies are going to spend money. They're always going to spend money, right? But when you get into the division with the Braves, we know what Tampa is. We know what the Marlins are. Nashville will be something that's going to take time to develop. So what happens to the Braves there? Do they just fucking dominate and crush everybody? And then when they go and play like a really good team, they're out in the first round because they really haven't been competing all year, right? So that's the only thing I worry about in terms of that. Yeah.
Because that's where my 8-team division comes in. Because now you play Houston, you'd play the Rangers. Now you'd play some like legit competition. Yeah.
So I mean, I miss the National League rules versus the American League rules. I like that idea. East and West. I grew up with the East and West being like a basketball and a hockey thing. So it just that to me is where it lies. I like American League and National League. I like that aspect of it. So that's the only thing. So I like the Atlanta Braves division. I love that. I worry about the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, and the Red Sox getting stale. I think a super competitive division and a really good division would be the Twins, the Brewers, the Tigers, and the Blue Jays. I think that would be fun. The other one I think that gets lost in this is the California division. It's literally a California division. It's the Giants, the Dodgers, the Angels, and the Padres. Is that fun? All the teams are in California? I don't know if maybe you break that up and maybe you just kind of do Vegas, Arizona, Padres, Dodgers, and then you do Anaheim, Giants, Portland, Seattle. Maybe that I think you gotta break up California a little bit.
I
Maybe
think the
break up.
Dodgers move into. I think the Dodgers and the Angels switch, but even though like that's even said, like now you have Giants, Dodgers. Is that going to get stale? Because you'd have to play in 162 games. You figure they're playing 16 times a year.
Between 17 and 19 times. Yeah.
Or even if you keep it even, right? You're playing 16 per, and then one team would get, your rival would get 18. Like something like that. That's still a lot. But, you know, if you think about it, when the Yankees and Red Sox played 19 times, people were interested.
Yeah. I kind of like your idea better. You know, you look at a situation where you could have the Rangers, the Astros, the National team, the Braves, the Marlins, and the Rays, along with the Orioles and the Nationals. Okay, we've got like a big division. We've got a lot of teams here. A lot of shit can happen. Like, you know, I think it makes more, and let them just play each other, right? Let them just play each other, and then I say, like you said, get rid of, either make it a home and home with interleague play, or make it a one way with interleague play, but really just playing these teams, right? And then once you go to the playoffs, then we'll get to see you play the other teams. I mean, you can rack up some serious amount of games.
Or even here's a crazy idea.
2, 4, 6, 8.
You can actually start mixing once you get to the playoffs, so it doesn't actually end up being like you can reseed and have National Play American.
Yeah.
Like, who cares at this point?
I'm not totally. I like that alignment better than what he is proposing. You know, for years I've seen the Yankees just, you know, fucking rain terror down on the Rays, and only up until like the last 20 years has the Rays really put up a fight. But you have you know, all these teams that spend and then teams that don't spend, and it waters it down. And it's getting old. Like, I don't see a situation where the Orioles are going to overcome the Yankees. Like, it's just not going to happen. So let's shake things up. Let's move it up. I don't hate it, but you're completely changing the dynamic of the league. You're completely changing baseball. So do you really want to, how much do you really want to do this? I mean, as a traditionalist, I like it the way it is, but I'm also a fan of, I don't like the DH in the National League. I don't like the ghost runner. Like, I want to go back to where it is. But if you're going to keep changing things and keep pushing forward, then just create another sport, Rob. Just fucking create another sport. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're just creating another sport, another league. You're throwing away 100 years plus or whatever, so have at it, Hoss. But from the future of the Major League Baseball to the present of Major League Baseball, the Yankees and Red Sox clash in a 4-game weekend series in the Bronx with huge wild card implications this weekend. The Yankees and Red Sox hold the top 2 wild card spots in the American League, with the Mariners, Royals, Guardians, and Rangers still in striking distance. A sweep either way could send one of these teams out of the playoffs. The Red Sox beat the Yankees last night single-handedly, in my opinion. Anthony got up and crushed a fucking 3-run shot that put the game out of reach. And the Yankees had their big bats up in the 9th against an old foe, Aroldis Chapman. I went outside with my glove because I thought Giancarlo Stanton might hit it to me, but it didn't happen. So how do you see things playing out this weekend?
Well, I think I put the fucking jinx on it because I turned to Mrs. Z and I said, okay, they got Chapman warming up, 2 pitches, game over. You have Judge, you had Bellinger, and you had Judge. 2 pitches, game over, Yankees win. And then Yerry De Los Santos gives it up to Roman Anthony to make it 6-3. So, yeah.
A fucking shot.
I was like, oh shit, is that going upper tank? And
holy
no, it did.
Shit. That's what I said it is. It's like, jeez.
If let's have an old school saying, since we're talking about old school, like, you need a flight attendant on that one. Holy fuck. Booyah. That was a bomb, to quote the late great Stuart Scott. Amazing. Yeah, the Yankees fucking Weaver gagged it up, and then it was a competitive affair. It was like it was back and forth. It was a slugfest. It was the fight you wanted it to be.
It was, but it shouldn't be. Right? It shouldn't be. The Yankees should beat them, right?
Yeah, the Yankees should, but at the same time, it's like at this level, the Yankees have their significant flaws, as do the Red Sox. And it's one of those things that you have to be concerned about. The bullpen is definitely, like, the management of the bullpen. Doval has been atrocious. Like, Weaver fell down yesterday, but generally he's been good. Yerry De Los Santos in the 9th inning, like, I don't understand. But I guess you kind of have to use somebody there. So why not Yeti? The bats. The bats fell short when you needed them most. Between Chisholm and then the 9th inning with your Thunder going up against a guy like Aroldis Chapman, who we've seen give it up in big moments. We've seen him gag it up. And that's why I was so confident. But if it gets into the bullpen, you got to say advantage Red Sox at this point. You're looking at the starting rotation you're looking at the matchups over the weekend. You have Bayo and Fried tonight, and then this weekend, you're looking at Crochet Warren, advantage Red Sox. And then on the 24th, you're looking at Dustin May. Who the hell knew Dustin May? I forgot Dustin May got traded to the Red Sox. Dustin May and Carlos Rodon. Sunday Night Baseball, game of the week. Rodon, he could be too amped for that and shit the bed, or he could be the dominant Carlos Rodon that we've seen in the past. 13-7, 3.34 on the year. It's potential. Like, that's going to be, I can see a split, a little holding of serve. But if the Yankee bats are not going to do what they need to do, the Red Sox can easily win this series. As far as what it means for the wild card, they're just going to beat each other up. Now,
yeah, because they've only played each other, I believe, 7 times this year. Yeah. And the Red Sox are 6-1 against the Yankees this year.
So that's all you need to know about that. The Yankees are, they're not made for beating the Red Sox. The Red Sox are kind of tailor-made for beating the Yankees. And we talked about the Guardians, we talked about the Rangers, we talked about the Mariners. The Mariners have the best opportunity of the 3 because they're playing the A's this weekend. So the Yankees and Red Sox beat each other up, and the Mariners kind of do what they need to do. The Mariners could possibly overtake because there's only 2.5 games between the Mariners and the Yankees. So it's not that far removed. The Yankees can easily drop from number 1 to number 3, or the Red Sox can drop to number 3. Like, it's very fluid right now. Cleveland and Texas are beating each other up. So it's very similar to Yankees Red Sox. So there, a sweep either way could knock some guys down the peg. Because you also have the Royals. The Royals draw the Tigers. No, thanks for coming, Kansas City. Kansas City. So,
Tigers, I believe they're coming off of a sweep of the Astros, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right. And
they just fucking pounded them for 4 games.
They're coming out of whatever doldrums, whatever malaise they were under. But as far as Yankees Red Sox goes, the Yankees need to be concerned about their bullpen and lack of timely hitting. It's the same things that have been plaguing them all year. They made 3 errors again last night. They made 4. Sorry. 4. I stand corrected. Ridiculous. Fundamentals, timely hitting, and quality pitching. These are like the basic tenets of what you need. And the Yankees do not excel at any of them.
Do you have the Yankees catching the Blue Jays? Do you think the Blue Jays are taking this division?
I think the Blue Jays are taking this division because the Yankees are nothing special. Like the Yankees, there's a lot of nothing special. We talked about how there's a lot of nothing. There's a lot of meh in this league. The Yankees are just one example of it. The Mets are another example of it. Like, they're lucky to be there. Both teams. They're lucky that the other teams are just as bad as they are because really, it's a bunch of meh.
Yeah, I see. I'm not really overly concerned. I actually think the way it's set up right now is the way it's going to finish. I think the Red Sox and the Yankees take the top 2 spots, and then Seattle gets the last one. I don't see anybody moving up the ladder. I don't see anybody really, putting in a surge. The Mariners can score. Their pitching is suspect, but their guys are decent. the Red Sox, their surge that they had last month is continuing on. We talk about getting hot at the right time. They used that move of trading Devers to apparently to fuel them. And they brought up Anthony, and extended him already. So he's their guy. He's their right fielder. Their guy is up. They're ready. They're and we talk about this all the time. It's about getting your farm guys up and playing them, and them, being what they should be, right? Yeah. And it looks like this guy Anthony is that guy. He's that guy, right? We look on the other side of the Yankees, and Dominguez is okay. And Volpe is not the guy. So I think the Yankees make the playoffs. I think all three of these teams make it. I don't think they go very far. I think the team that I expect to really withstand pressure and withstand the playoffs is really Houston and Detroit. Yeah. And funny enough, they were coached by the same guy at one point. But I think, Detroit is they're rocking on all cylinders. They play with confidence. 1 through 9 can hit. They got 2 guys that can throw it. You worry about them getting clipped in the first round. I could also see that happening. I have no faith in Toronto. I think they're the result of a very bad league. The American League is a shit league. It's shit. I mean, I don't believe in any of these teams. I believe the champion will come out of the National League. But yeah, well, I think at the end of the day they'll beat each other up. But these are the 3 teams that we're going to see make it to the playoffs. If
you're looking at it right now, we're going to do the trite, if the season ended today, the first round of the playoffs in the American League would be Astros, Mariners, and Yankees, Red Sox. It would hold divisionally. So it actually goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of when we were discussing realignment. It is very interesting. The Mariners scare me. If I'm a Yankee fan, I have to be concerned with the Mariners. Their offense is better. They got Naylor, they got Suarez, they have Raleigh. They have guys. They have they got Thunder. Can my pitching handle that Thunder? Over a 7-game series? I don't know. Over a 5-game series? I don't know. Right? We've seen Fried gag it up. We've seen Rodon gag it up. It could end up being a very short series if they had to play them. Now, if they drop all the way to the 3rd wildcard spot, I believe they draw the Astros in the first round. And we know how well that goes for the Yankees. Advantage Astros all day.
Someone was saying to me, when you look at everything, you look at the standings and the Yankees, right? Mm-hmm. Can you see the Yankees beating the Tigers?
No.
Can you see the Yankees beating the Astros?
No.
Could you see the Yankees beating Toronto?
Yes.
Okay. Could you see the Yankees beating you don't have them beating Seattle, right?
Not with Castillo, Wu, not with that rotation.
All right. So that's the whole thing. It's you can really get a sense of where things are, but we'll see how it plays out. It'll be exciting to the delightment of Mr. Manfred.
No, ultimately it's a dog day. It's the dog days of August, man. But these count. They count.
Oh yeah, you got to get hot. The Mets got hot last year. The Mets are struggling right now.
I don't want to talk about it.
Is your hair thinning or is your hairline receding? Scalp micropigmentation will fill in the areas where your hair is missing by creating a short buzz cut look. Micropigmentation is a non-invasive procedure that will create the illusion of hair follicles for 7 to 10 years. For people with alopecia, this could be a permanent fix. For people with scars on their scalp, this is a great way to camouflage a scar. Don't lose confidence or feel like you need to wear a hat wherever you go. Marquez Studio is located in the Bronx and is open for all your scalp micropigmentation needs. Consultations are free and appointments can be made any day of the week. Get your hairline back with scalp micropigmentation. The techs at Marquez Studio have over 30 years of hair cutting experience and can assist you with all of your questions. Call to schedule a consultation today, 646-221-8728. You can also visit them on Instagram at Bronx Marquez to see their gallery and view all their satisfied customers. Again, that is Marquez Studio, located in the Bronx, New York, 646-221-8728.
Moving over to football, the Browns and Colts have made their decision on starting quarterbacks for week 1. Old man Joe did it again. Joe Flacco beats out Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Huntley, and you forgot one, Cody Pickett. Kenny Pickett. You don't even know his real name. He'll be number 2 though. And then meanwhile in Indianapolis, friend of the show Daniel Jones beat out the incumbent Anthony Richardson. So which team is in better shape moving forward?
Okay. So, kudos to old man Joe. He did it. Here's the problem. Week 1, Bengals. Week 2, Ravens. Week 3, Packers. Week 4, Lions. Week 5, Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't see a win in any of those. I don't see a win anywhere in that list. So, old man Joe is there to take a beating. He's there in the Kurt Warner way. He's there in the veteran presence to give Shador Sanders more time, to give Dylan Gabriel more time. The question is, when do they pull the trigger? It's not going to be a situation like last year.
So you have them carrying all 4 guys into the season.
I have them releasing Tyler Huntley. I think somebody will want Snoop Huntley, and as a cheap backup.
Well, hold on. Well, that's the 5th guy, right? Wait.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett is not a factor here. Like Kenny Pickett, they traded for him, but he is not a factor. Like,
okay,
you got to play to be a factor. Like, you actually have to be around to be a factor. Flacco has that veteran presence. If he's healthy, they can flip him at the deadline and then start. They can flip him anytime then get Shador and Dylan Gabriel going.
So you got Flacco, Pickett, Shador, and Gabriel going into the season.
Pickett will be on. They'll probably put Pickett on IR or some shit. Like they'll have, there's no reason for Kenny Pickett to be.
Okay.
Huntley will be somewhere, possibly with the Jets. Like they could use
Snoop will get a job. I forgot about him. He's kind of an afterthought. I mean, I'm very surprised you have them carrying 4 quarterbacks into the season, and you're gonna dress 2.
You're only gonna dress 2.
You're gonna dress 3. You're gonna dress 2.
You dress 2. So most weeks that's gonna be Flacco and Shador. Okay. So if it actually, it's probably gonna be 3.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Actually, possibly 3. Hear me out. Because Flacco.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, because if Flacco gets hurt, now you have Shador with no safety net. That becomes an issue. So you're probably going to need to dress 3 in this scenario, because Flacco is our age. Like those hits, those bumps, they take a toll. So eventually, there may be a time where Shador is going to have to play because Flacco gets knocked out. And week 2 against the Ravens, it doesn't look good. Like it doesn't look good. So they're going to get time. They're going to get plenty of time. Against the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson, hello. So there's going to he's going to have to. Joe Flacco is going to have a lot of Advil this year because he's going to take a beating. And this is by design. To give the kids more time to play. The kids are going to play. So I think that is sort of shaping up as we go. Because Kenny Pickett ain't shit. Sorry, Mr. Pickett. Sorry, little hands, Kenny Pickett. My bad. Tyler Huntley was brought in because Kenny Pickett was hurt. That's the only reason why Tyler Huntley's here. Like, he'll be on another team. Snoop will get a job, like you said. He's got talent. He's good for a couple games. Flacco is here till the trade deadline, and then they're going to roll. The plan, I believe, is Sanders and Gabriel, unless Gabriel completely shits the bed. So that doesn't sound good, right? That plan doesn't sound good. So by default, the Colts are in a better fucking situation, and I'm saying that as a Giants fan who had to bear witness to Daniel Jones. Like, that's bad. It's fucking bad when I'm saying Daniel Jones is a better alternative than anything you got on your roster. That's bad. It's horrible.
I think the only thing what I'll say about the Colts situation is, I think they're in a worse situation because Richardson is not ready. He's just not ready, right? To me, it's almost like the Trey Lance situation. I don't know if you got a chance to watch Trey Lance play in the preseason. He looked damn good. Like, damn good. Like, he just needed to play. He played for South Dakota State or North Dakota State or whatever it is. And he came into a 49er Kyle Shanahan offense and just wasn't ready to play. Now, after, 4 years? 4 years, he looks like a competent quarterback. I saw DeVito play last weekend. He looks like a competent quarterback that's delivering passes, looks confident in the pocket, avoids pressure, looks like a quarterback. So for me, I don't think it's the Colts because there's a ceiling for Daniel Jones, right? We know what that is.
We know what that ceiling is.
He can't push the ball downfield. He just can't. He's a good athlete and he's a good player, but he's not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I can argue that Trey Lance didn't have enough time, and that's why now he's looking good, right? With Daniel Jones, he's had plenty of time, and we know what that is, right? I think you and I would agree that we've seen enough of Jackson Dart to say, okay, son, you can play in this league.
Mm-hmm.
You can play in this league.
Yeah.
You can deliver the ball. You're confident. You feel pressure. You move. You need to work on sliding, but okay, yes, sir, you can play in this league. Daniel Jones we know what you are, and you're not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Richardson, I think he has the tools and he has the talent. He needs more time. He needs more time. He needs to be developed. He needs to be taught how to play quarterback in the NFL. I think there was something I sent you this week which showed like how many passes he had in high school, how many passes he had in college, and how many passes he had in the NFL. And when you compare that to Josh Allen, he's nowhere near those numbers. Like he just hasn't played enough. And that's on the Colts because the Colts drafted him and they didn't vet this well enough. And you jumped the gun on a kid and you thought, you can make it work, and he's just getting hurt. I mean, he's missing. You've got to be able to walk up to the line of scrimmage and know where your hots are, know where people are coming from. I saw him take a shot in the preseason that if it was Myles Garrett, he probably would have died. He would have died. He didn't even see it coming, didn't look that way. You got to look hot, and he didn't, and he got put into the ground by a B-level player, luckily. Now on the Cleveland side. So for Cleveland, I mean, this is just a mess. It's always been a mess. It's been a mess since Jump Street, right?
Yeah.
Flacco is competent, right? He's competent. He will deliver the football and he can throw it. He can throw it all over the place, 100%. The problem is your 2, 3, 4. I think of it a lot differently than you do. I think they're working on flipping Kenny Pickett right now. And if they can't flip Kenny Pickett, then I think Gabriel's going to practice squad because he looked terrible in the preseason. Shador looked like he looked okay. Like he looked okay, and his numbers were okay. And I think over time he can develop and become better. But I mean, Gabriel doesn't look like he's any feel for the position. And then he talks like a moron in the press conference. Shut the fuck up. What are you saying? Why would you say that? Why would you say anything about that? Like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
he's competitive. Yeah, he's a real competitor.
He's gonna be competing for practice squad reps. So I see it laying out a little differently. I think they carry 3, they dress 2, but one guy's hitting the practice squad, or they're going to try to trade Pickett. And I think there are some suitors for Pickett right now. You're not going to get the return on it, but because you're in a situation where, let's face it, if you have a terrible season, you have multiple picks in the first round next year. You can get the quarterback of the future. You've got
but
too
you
many
also have
quarterbacks on
Deshaun
this
Watson.
team.
You also have Deshaun Watson.
It's not going to happen, man. That's not. He's never going to. He might not play in the NFL ever again.
I know, but you have 6 quarterbacks under contract.
Now you look at the Giants' quarterback room. all those guys could play. They all could play. Even DeVito could play. DeVito is a backup quarterback, and he's a good backup. He's a good backup quarterback. He is. Russell Wilson looked good in the preseason. He threw a nice moon ball. He's moving the offense. You can tell he understands the offense. And that's what you want, you know? And then Dart can throw. He can throw. And Jameis is Jameis. Jameis came in through a touchdown. Like, I got this, man. No doubter. They're another team where I don't know what you do with all those quarterbacks. What do you do with them all? Because you're not going to put DeVito on the practice squad.
DeVito's the odd man out, man. He's the odd man out.
But you're not going to put him on practice squad.
People will come calling for DeVito.
Right. You're not going to put him on practice squad. In my opinion, your best bet is to actually trade Jameis or trade Russell Wilson, because Dart's going to play. He's going to play this year. I mean, it's just, these are facts. He's going to play. So I don't know. You know, I call the Rams. You call the 49ers. You call the Dolphins. Like, there's a market for their quarterback. You call the Saints, but the Saints are trying to lose.
Right.
Did you see their quarterback play?
Fucking terrible.
Holy shit.
There was a meme out there that Kellen Moore is the best QB
out there. He looked like John Skian out there.
Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
So that's where we are there.
Well, at least circle back, with Daniel Jones, he's had a taste of success. He knows what he can do and what he can't do. And Shane Steichen comes from the Eagles tree. They're not going to make him do like a tush push or anything like that. They'll have him run inside. They'll have him run up the gut. They'll hand off to Jonathan Taylor. There are weapons there. Jones has a decent arm. Now, where the organization has failed Anthony Richardson is that he's only played 15 games. That's it. 15 games as a pro. They saw stars in their eyes. They saw Cam Newton coming out of college, and they abused this kid. Like, they were just like, let him take a beating. Now, he didn't do himself any favors by tapping out last year because he was tired. So there's
he's just being honest.
I know, but there's all that.
Honest.
But that creates a perception, right? Oh, he's tapping out. He's tired. He's soft. Like, that's what you see in that case. And stuff like that sticks with management. It sticks with a coach.
So here are the numbers. Anthony Richardson has thrown 523 passes in high school, 393 in college, and 348 in the NFL, for a total of 1,264 passes thrown in the last 9 years.
Yep.
Now let's look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, 600 passes in high school, 908 in college, 1,500 throws before the NFL reps. That's it. That's it right there. That's it right there. Like, I don't even have to mention Josh's NFL numbers.
No. Now, my question to you is this. We go all the way back to high school. What the fuck were they doing to Anthony Richardson? What was the offense? Just snap and run? Everything was a design run? Like, we can't speak to that.
I would probably say, looking at him and his skill set, he was throwing bombs. So he was really throwing deep passes, and he was running. He probably didn't have a short or intermediate game, you know? Most of the highlights you see of him, think about it, most of the highlights you see of him are him throwing bombs. It's not him throwing, like, on, 15-yard outs and 25-yard ins, right?
So he's Jeff George. He's
throwing further than everybody else. And he's also had the time to throw.
Mm-hmm. He's Jeff George. He's Jay Cutler.
They looked at him as an athlete, though. And I think you're right a little bit. They thought of him as Cam. They thought, oh, man, he could be the next Cam. Cam was 6'7", 260. Cam's taking shots from linebackers and fucking defensive tackles, and he's still going.
Right. So is Anthony Richardson, but he's nowhere near the body type of Cam Newton. Cam Newton was built like a linebacker. He was a linebacker with an arm. So, like, that's an anomaly. Teams need to stop chasing Cam Newton. Like, that, Cam was an anomaly. And then he was failed by the Panthers because they just let him get beat down. So, you asked a few weeks ago in a production meeting, like, over under how many more years Anthony Richardson has in this league. And I think you said 5 years? I think he's going to get those 5 years. I think he's going to be a journeyman. Like, he'll get hit like a. I'm not saying he's going to have the success of like a Geno Smith, but I can see teams seeing the talent and seeing the skill set and be like, I can fix him.
It's going to depend on his development, right? Because I think you look at Trey Lance, again, I'm going back to Trey Lance, you can see progress, right? There was no progress with Josh Rosen. No. Josh Rosen's out of the league. Like, you know, with Baker Mayfield, there was enough progress for him to stick around.
Right.
And now he's the starting quarterback of the Bucs, and they're damn happy about that. Johnny Manziel, there was no progress. So it's going to depend on him. It's going to depend on if he is showing progression. If he, like, I think even in Daniel Jones, the coach in Indianapolis has seen enough for him to say, okay, he can win us games. Mm-hmm. I just got to help him make better decisions, right? I've got to get him to, you got to kind of Mark Sanchez him. Right? It's like, okay, this is your first read, and if it's not there, throw it away or run. You are not able to go through a progression. Let's just realize what you are. You can't go through a progression. You make the wrong decisions when you go through progressions. So we're going to limit it. If it's you, when you walk up to the line of scrimmage, you're going here. You're going here. And if you don't see that, you run. You run and you run like hell. Or throw it away. Don't be a hero.
That's it.
Don't be a hero.
And don't lower your fucking head when you run. Slide.
Don't lower your head. Slide. Get out of bounds. Kill to a run play. Like, these are just basic things to help you out. And we don't need to be world beaters in the AFC South.
No.
We just need 8 or 9 wins. We're a playoff team. Like, that's success here. Okay?
You got to catch Jacksonville. You got to catch Tennessee. The only team you can't catch is Houston.
We don't got to catch anybody. We just got to stay above water. Just don't turn the fucking football over, okay? Don't throw it to the other team.
That's also part of it, too. Like, you look at we're comparing the Browns, right? I got to go up against the Bengals. I mean, yeah, their defense sucks, but hey, they still have Joe Burrow. The Steelers are the Steelers, even with Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the Ravens. The Colts are in a much better position. Like, just look at it from a bigger standpoint, from a macro standpoint. I'd rather be the Colts than the Browns because, you know, the Browns are shit. Like, plain and simple.
All right, it's fair. Browns are shit. Yes, they are. Okay. Things are already getting a little unconventional in Jets camp. It's probably my favorite story. Quarterback Justin Fields reported that the team recently conducted a player-led practice under the watchful eye of head coach Aaron Glenn. According to Fields led the offense while linebacker Sherwood ran the defense, allowing other players to call plays and run drills. This reminds me of when Mark Sanchez used to call plays for the offense in preseason. Ugh. The goal, according to Coach Glenn, was a sense of ownership and accountability on the team. Is this innovative or insane?
You can do this when you have Jared Goff. You can do this when you have Matthew Stafford. You can do this when you have a quarterback who's not trying to prove himself. So, you know, I appreciate what Coach Glenn is trying to do. I tried this when I was coaching my girls' basketball team, tried to get them involved, and ultimately it did not work. It did not work. They need guidance. They need mentorship. That is what athletes need, especially young athletes. They need to be told, this is what you fucking need to do. You don't have that callus. You don't have that level yet where you can kind of make it go on the fly. Now, to me, this underscores the fact of, like, how good are your coordinators that you hired? If Aaron Glenn is just going to watch the players run this thing. Now, kudos to Justin Fields if you know, he feels comfortable, he feels confident, if he owns the offense, good. As the quarterback, that's your job. You should own the offense. You should. But you need guidance, you need mentorship, you need to kind of figure everything out before you can do stuff like this. This is like a veteran team kind of midway through the season. Like, we're going to do this. I don't know. It seems kind of nuts to me, but I mean, if they were doing it in Detroit, was the question, you know, were you guys doing this with Coach Campbell? Like, I would like to know that. But, you know, with a veteran team, it's innovative. With a young team, it's batshit crazy. It's both. It can be both depending on the situation. And in this particular situation with the Jets, I err on the side of insane.
Right. We have 2 weeks to start the season. What the fuck are you doing? every single minute and every single play is important. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch the Jets this preseason, but they are fucking awful.
I watched them against the Giants. Yeah.
And what did you think of Justin Fields in that game?
Nothing special.
I thought he forced balls. I thought he was indecisive when he got back there. There was a 5-step drop where all of a sudden someone was in his face and he jumped and threw the ball. And I don't know if he really saw where he was jumping and throwing it. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm hearing. I think Aaron Glenn, I thought, was going to be more of like a Herman Edwards type coach. He certainly sounded that way. He sounded very motivational, but this is not something Herm would do. Mm-hmm. This is not something like, I don't think Sean McVay would do.
Rex wouldn't even do this.
I think Rex would do this. I don't know what the ownership. They're searching for their identity, and I think their identity looks like it's going to be running the football and living off of play action. That's what it looks like to me. And they're giving the ball to Braylon Allen, their big back, and they're just going to try to punish people, which is fine. You can do that. I remember when preseason, Brian Schottenheimer would let Mark Sanchez call the offensive plays in like the second half of the preseason games. It's like, why? What? You are the one that's supposed to be evaluating talent. You're supposed to be giving him things to work on to make him better. If I'm Justin Fields, I don't really know what I need to work on to be better. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to be seeing. I have an idea, but it's the coaches that are supposed to be saying, okay, when we play the Patriots, they're going to come out in a 3-4, and on third down, they're going to run this play, and how are we going to respond to that? What's going to be our play? Like, so I need you to tell me that. That's not something that I'm going to draw up while I'm in the huddle. Like, usually practices are scripted. Like, the coaches all have a script that they're going by. Players sometimes get a look at that beforehand, but to be able to go down that script and run these plays and to hold everybody accountable, I just don't think that's a fair thing to do to him. I don't really. The Jets, you would never think the Jets and the Giants are in the same state or in the same league. Just the way they go about running their business, right? It's just like some of the things are just small market. Like they just do small market things. And to me, this is a small market thing. You know, this is like, we're having fun. We're all going to just go out here and coach each other, and we'll see how it works out, you know?
Yeah, it's something you do in the middle of training camp to break up monotony.
Maybe. But I think it's more like you said, this isn't a veteran team. Like, we really just need to work and get better. We need to do things over and over again. I need the offensive line coach to make sure that this guy is in step with the guard. I need to know that he's not a half second too early or half second too late. I need somebody looking at the splits. I need somebody looking down the line and knowing that this receiver is on the line. Like, there's just so much that goes into practice. Like, this isn't December. These are building blocks. And, you know, to me, that practice where it was a player-led practice, that just means you had one last day to get ready for the season. Where another team that you're going to be playing, like, can you imagine Vrabel doing something like that? Like, I keep thinking about, when I think about the Jets and I watch them play, right? I don't really know much about Sean McDermott, and I know enough about McDaniels down in Miami. But I think about Vrabel, and I think about, like, what would his reaction be to something like how would he react if after his team beat the Packers in the preseason game, if Drake May put on a cheese head? Like, what would be his response the next day on the
get that thing off your fucking head,
or maybe on the plane? Like, what's Vrabel gonna say? What's he gonna? Because to me, he was an elite player, and he did a lot in Tennessee with nothing. Mm-hmm. And he coached under Urban Meyer a little bit. He was coached by Bill Belichick. He coached in Houston. Like, this guy has been around. This guy knows his stuff. So how would he handle these things? Like, to me, he's the benchmark of coaching in the AFC East, and the Jets are just falling way short on this.
So what I don't understand is you have Taylor Engstrand, right? The Tanner Engstrand. He's the offensive coordinator. He was an assistant under Ben Johnson last year in Detroit. So Aaron Glenn brought him along for the ride. So maybe they're going to try and put some of that, razzle dazzle Ben Johnson type stuff in, but they're not even working on that. And then you're looking at the defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks is solid as they come. He's just not a good head coach. But Steve Wilks is 17 years as a coordinator. He's good. Like, he's done something in this league. So, and the defense looks that way. Like, they look better. They look miles ahead of the offense. The offensive line looks really good. See what they did to Abdul Carter? He trucked his ass. So they got some big fucking boys up front. They got big, beefy boys. That's what you want. So it's about, it's a focus on Justin Fields at that point. How are you coaching up the quarterback? And leaving him out there to his own devices and just calling shit. I mean, that's just going to set him up, right? Because you know that defenses are going to try and disguise. Defenses are going to switch up. That's what they're going to do. And yes, like you're going to trust what you see, but at the same time, you need that level of guidance. Now, sometimes it's too much. Like, if you watched the quarterback, the second season of the quarterback, like, you hear Jared Goff's like, we got 12 seconds. I got 12 seconds, so shut the fuck up. Like, I have so much information. Justin Fields kind of needs to figure out how to learn it on his own, but at the same time, he needs the guidance and mentorship. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not there yet. Right. And I think they're setting this kid up to fail. I think that doing stuff like that, it's a fun headline, but that's about it.
Yeah, and they love chasing headlines over there.
Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their graphic tees, hoodies, snapbacks, accessories, and more. Go to fckclout.com today and check out current season and past season merchandise for men and women. Get it while you can. That's fckclout.com. Check them out today. fckclout.com. Yeah.
Over to our latest edition of Fans Behaving Badly. At this point, we should just make this an official segment.
I think so.
Another man was arrested for throwing a sex toy onto a WNBA court, this time at the New York Liberty Dallas Wings game on August 5th. Meanwhile, Little League Baseball has to make public statement condemning gambling on the Little League World Series. However, while it is banned domestically, people are still placing offshore bets. This is true. I've been asked to place some bets myself. Which behavior is more disgusting, throwing sex toys onto the court or betting on Little League?
After the Little League sign stealing allegation too, we forgot to mention the Little League sign stealing.
I said that to you. That
you
was
did.
Awesome. You
did. The kid is kind of raising his arm and just like that, inside outside, like, no, stop it. Okay, well, it's a warning. Okay, did it again. It's a stronger warning. Wait, what's the? Little League has some work to do on this. Little League also implied the Ghost Runner too. We're going to get to that later in Alleged Superstar. But at the end of the day, Little League is a bunch of 12-year-old kids. 12-year-old kids. How much of a degenerate gambler are you that you are betting on 12-year-old children?
I think it's fine if you bet the over.
You bet the over. Yeah. So what the fuck? Like, that's all, like, what are they, prop bets? Are you betting over-unders? You're betting, like, out and out. You're playing overall winners? Like, what the hell? And if you don't get the result you want, you DMing them? Are you DMing the parents? You're like, are you threatening them? Like, put little Johnny in the fucking gym, you waste of space. Make sure he's lifted. Put him on the roids, you motherfucker. Like, Major League Baseball, a recent player, a pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, said, I've had a crap year. I don't need you sliding in my DMs and in my girlfriend's DMs threatening to kill me. I don't need you tagging me on Instagram saying the things you want to do to me. We have crossed a line in terms of fandom. Like, back to the quarterback thing. You know where Joe Burrow lives. When he's not home, you're going to go and break into the dude's house.
Terrible.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely terrible.
Like, there was a guy, ESPN reported this, that somebody fired 3 shots into the Kansas City Chiefs practice facility.
Recently?
One hit an air conditioning. I think it was in January. It wasn't recent. But one of them went through Coach Reed's window and hit 15 feet away from him. Wow. So one hit above, one hit an air conditioning duct, and then one hit the window. What the fuck is going on as a society? We need to really kind of step back and examine what the hell is going on as a society. Yes, the sex toy thing is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. They should clamp down on this. Like, I don't understand why it's still progressing, why it's still going on. You've made your point, whatever that point is. But at the end of the day, they're adults. They're professionals. Unfortunately, it comes with the role of being a professional athlete. These kids are kids. They are 12 years old. Leave them alone. Don't bet on them. Don't treat them like cattle. Don't treat them like professionals, because they're not. Yeah, they're on TV. I understand they're on TV. But that is absolutely deplorable. And it's ridiculous that Little League has to come out and condemn it, and the fact that DraftKings has to come out and condemn it, FanDuel has to come out. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You need help. Go seek help.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think the sex toy thing is very disrespectful. It's kind of disgusting.
Extremely.
So, it's interesting. I was away this past weekend. I was in Portland, Maine, and I came downstairs to the bar to get a drink, and there was a game on. There's a bunch of people hovered around the game. I'm like, oh, what's playing right now? I'm in Maine. I don't know what's playing. They were watching the Little League World Series. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't condone betting on children's games or the Little League World Series, but I as long as you're doing it for fun and you're not going to be going after children or parents, I think it could bring fun to the game. But I do think the sex toy thing is, it's just a little disrespectful. Nah, it's actually very disrespectful. It's disgusting, and that just needs to go. So I would be in the camp of I think that is the worst thing. But that's the problem with gambling, right? Is like the pros you've accepted this into our culture now, and now there's no limit. There's no bounds. You can go and do it anywhere on anything. They're gonna have a UFC fight on the lawn of the White House soon. I mean, it's just these are the times we live in.
It's unfortunate between the gambling and also the social media. We have never lived in a time where you had such direct access to people. Like, I could take my phone and DM Kelsey Plum right now. Like, I can do that, right? We can DM Angel Reese. We can DM anybody whoever has social media. We can send it. It's there. Athletes are accessible more than ever before. How do we use that power responsibly is the question as a society. Kids, 12-year-olds, I don't even think they're not allowed on social media platforms. I think you have to be 13 and over, if I remember correctly. Or you need to have parental consent, something like that. But still, at the end of the day, like, what kind of person are you if you're going to harass a child? Like, you know, I think Law and Order Special Victims Unit did an episode on that once, and they, you know, it was about adult harassment of a child. It's absolutely ridiculous, and children are impressionable. Their frontal cortexes are not developed. They don't know how to deal with emotion to a certain degree. Like, their brains are still developing. They're still learning how to handle these things. A 20-something-year-old professional athlete has been through some shit, right? They understand how to navigate certain things. They have guardrails to protect against certain things. They can go to the authorities if they're being threatened. It's unseemly. It's absolutely unseemly. And unfortunately, there really is no end in sight as long as social media is not regulated in the way it needs to be to protect people, and as long as gambling goes unfettered. It's something that needs to be done. We need to take it back as a civil society. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debunk this week's most controversial topics right. All right, boys and girls, we have some statements, and they're either bullshit or no shit. Let's get to it. Bullshit or no shit, number 1. College football week 0 is a big deal.
Now? Bullshit. I mean, it doesn't... College football doesn't... Nothing means anything anymore. Everybody's getting in. Everybody gets into the playoff, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, they manipulate it so that, you know, teams are able to stay in as long as possible. So, no, it means nothing. Bullshit.
I'm going to say bullshit as well, but I understand why it's no shit in the same way that spring training baseball means something to fans. Like, you're starved for it and you want it back. But it's complete bullshit. Let's look at these matchups. You have Kansas State versus Iowa State from Dublin, Ireland. Why? You have UNLV's playing, Fresno State is playing, University of Kansas is playing, Western Kentucky is playing. Stanford and Hawaii is the marquee matchup, I would argue. They're not ranked, but Stanford and Hawaii are like big-time schools. You have MEAC SWAC action, and then you have Mercer. Tarleton State's playing. What are we doing here? No. Absolutely. These matchups, absolutely bullshit. So, this is where we're going with the college football season. Teams are afraid to schedule. Teams want to pad as much as possible. But to give you that little bit of taste, I understand, I sympathize as a baseball fan. I love it when you see pitchers and catchers report, and it's awesome. But then you remember, like, we have spring training games, and usually they're not very good. And this is the equivalent of that. Bullshit or no shit, number 2. This one's just for you. The Bulls retiring Derrick Rose's number.
Oh, jeez. Like, the only... So at first, I mean, you messaged me this, and I was just like, just very angry about it, right? I was just very angry about it. But then I was like, the Bulls have also like retired Jerry Sloan's number, which is interesting. Like, I didn't even know he played for the Bulls. He didn't do anything there. He was a 2-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defensive player.
Oh.
You know, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen have their numbers retired, obviously.
Yes.
You could easily retire Dennis Rodman's number. You could easily retire Ron Harper's number, right? So, I mean, he just didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. So I'm sticking with bullshit because he was there for a hot second. And you know, the thing I'm curious what Bulls fans remember from when he was there. Because the thing that always sticks out to me is the year he was up against LeBron. I think LeBron was on the Heat at that time. It may have been Cleveland. But the Bulls were very good that year, and they needed a bucket. They needed a bucket to win the game. And obviously the ball goes to Derrick Rose, and then what happened? LeBron James switched over to Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose couldn't get by him, couldn't shoot over him, couldn't do Ugats. And that's how I remember Derrick Rose. And I remember him getting hurt. And I remember him playing for a slew of other teams, including the Knicks and the Grizzlies. I think he even played for the Timberwolves for a bit.
That sounds about right.
So I think he also played for the Cavs.
Yes.
So, I mean, you want to reward him for being like Chicago's son, and you know, we drafted him number 1, and unfortunately he got hurt. All right, but I guess you could do that to Dwayne Wade too, right? Because Dwayne Wade spent some time in Chicago and played pretty well there. So I think it's bullshit.
It is bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. You're looking at 406 career games with the Bulls. He averaged 19.7 points, 6.2 assists, and 3.7 rebounds. Now, that 1 year where he won MVP, he played out of his mind. But it was injury-plagued career. Journeyman. He ended up becoming a journeyman. He is a case of what if, unfortunately. And that's a lot like Jay Williams, too. What if? What if Jay Williams didn't get that motorcycle accident? What if Derrick Rose didn't get hurt? What if? At the end of the day, like, my position stays the same. It's a team decision. If it's their prerogative, if they want to do that and say no one will ever wear number 1 again. Like, that's you. Like, if you want to do that, go ahead. I think that certain, like, you got to earn it a little bit more than that. Like, if you want a championship, okay. Like, if Derrick Rose averaged these numbers and the Bulls won a championship, okay, now you have an argument. But with this, the one MVP and then not much else, I'm having a very difficult time saying yes. Right? It's not like he's the franchise leader in anything. Like, let's compare to like a David Wright situation where he was the franchise leader in multiple offensive categories and he was the captain of the team. Okay. Mets Hall of Fame, you'll have your jersey retired. Derrick Rose just didn't do enough. And that's, happenstance. Injury happens. But I gotta say this is bullshit as well. But, hey, you know what? Dwayne Wade got a statue, so maybe Derrick Rose is the next to get a statue. And we'll see where that goes. But congratulations, D. Rose. You got your number retired. And let's see what happens. Maybe you'll end up having a statue outside the United Center. Why not? Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today and check out our releases in apparel, accessories, drinkware, and more. Ever wanted an Alleged Superstar t-shirt? We got those. You want some yoga pants? We got those too. And we're not done yet. We have a lot of exciting collaborations and new products on the way. But check out what we have now at thefadestorewithdnz.com. That's thefadestorewithdnz.com. Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. Alright, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll on FadeRoute Podcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted, absolutely coveted, ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, D?
I don't.
Me neither. Hold, please.
Ah!
Scrolling still. It was very close. Very, very close. It was neck and neck between Aaron Boone and the WNBA fans, and the WNBA fans just narrowly beat out Aaron Boone for throwing their sex toys on the court. We got one more arrested this week. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right, so first up, I've got Anthony Richardson. Former first-round pick, once a top pick in the draft for the Indianapolis Colts. The quarterback, he lost his job to Daniel Jones, a guy who lost his job to Tommy DeVito in New York. Can't push the ball downfield. He makes very poor decisions. Anthony Richardson, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, I've got the Chicago Bulls. So we're gonna retire Derrick Rose to go with Jerry Sloan, Bob Love, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen. Which one of these things does not belong here? Derrick Rose. Oh, actually, the Chicago Bulls. You are my Alleged Superstars of the Week. And last but not least, Rob Manfred. As you continue to try to destroy the game I love, you've decided to try to create a new division format, including expansion teams and realignment, and it's just like, man, you're either trying really hard to make this sport bad, or you're trying really hard or too hard to make this sport better. I can't figure it out anymore. There's a blurred line. You're across it. You're over it. You've kind of thrown the line away. Rob Manfred, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. What do you got, Z?
You're so far away from the line, you can't see the fucking line anymore. Oh, that's true. Well, like once you get Ghost Runner, like pitch clock has been fine.
The Ghost Runner has to go. It
bigger
just
bases
has to go. Or how about, what is the bigger bases? What does that even mean anymore?
To encourage base stealing. The disengagement rule.
Let's just get in touch with facts that this is a sport where we can clearly see things are a strike and watch the umpire call it a ball. That's
ABS.
okay.
ABS.
But that's okay.
In time, I have a feeling there will be a safety bag in Major League Baseball as if this was slow pitch soccer. There's going to be a big ass fucking orange bag, and there you go. And they'll still get it wrong. That's the fucked up part. Oh, God. I'm going to go with Little League. I'm going to start with Little League Baseball. Lo and behold, what do I see? South Carolina versus Nevada in extra innings. There's a motherfucking Ghost Runner on second base. In Little League. What are we doing? Stop it. Let the kids play. The game, the purest form of the game. Don't bastardize Little League Baseball. Leave the Ghost Runners, leave the pitch clocks, leave the disengagement rules, leave all that shit in Major League Baseball. Let the kids learn, grow, and develop. And actually learn how to play the game of baseball. Little League, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, Tommy Pham. Oh, Tommy Pham. He bat flipped a walk against the Blue Jays.
Love it.
How do you fucking bat flip a walk? What are you doing?
I used to bat flip walks when I played wiffle ball.
Right. Did it lead to a bench clearing brawl? Because that's what happened here. The bench is cleared and they're going after Tommy Pham. Just put your fucking bat down and go to first base. There's a reason why you're still in Pittsburgh, Tommy. There's a reason why nobody came and got you. Because of shit like this. Could you imagine if he was on the Dodgers in the middle of a pennant race and he bat flipped a walk and now all of a sudden there's a bench clearing situation? No. Certainly the Mets wouldn't take him back. The Mets could use that kind of fire too, but they really don't want to be fighting other teams. Tommy Pham, at this point, dude, come on. You like to say you don't start things, you like to finish. No, motherfucker, you started it. You like to say you don't start things, you're prepared to finish them. Who started this? The pitcher? By walking you? No, you bat flipped. This is dumb. Tommy Pham, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, Victor Robles. Oh, did you see this? He's on rehab assignment for the Tacoma Rainiers. Pitcher came inside, hit him. Okay, no problem. Drop your bat, take your base. Nope. Victor Robles decides to chuck the bat at the pitcher and start some shit.
I saw that.
What the hell? This is almost as bad as that time Izzy Alcantara got hit and then like side kicked the catcher and then ran out to charge the mound against the pitcher. Like, what are you doing? He got 10 games. I think he got off a little light. But hey, you know, he's on a rehab assignment, so he may not be there very long. He might be in Seattle before you know it. Victor Robles, do better. Do better. Put your bat down, go to first base like a professional. Victor Robles, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our Instagram poll at Fade Route Podcast. Go to our X poll at Fade Route DNZ and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees. You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.